Good morning, with all. My name is Angel Luisa. I am responsible for the processing area of administrative records in Ecuador. First, we are going to answer the following question, the two questions of clinic. One, how to organize and systematize the ITL extraction, transform, and load for administrative data. How to organize the data flow, manage and organize the process from beginning to end. At Ecuador, we use the GSVPM model, which is divided into parts. The first part is composed of planning. Sorry, is composed of planning, design, and construction that is applied only when there are new data capture, for example. In the planning stage, we define the information needs, variables, methodologies, and times and resources we need. This is the first steps we in Ecuador use to capture the new data. In the design stage, we define the products, data collection, data mapping, processing and analysis, system and workflow. From the previous stages, the data interoperability solution is defined and built, which will serve to capture data from other state institutes that have administrative records. Please, Freddy, the next slide, please. But how do we get to request data from state institutions? We carry out an information request approach to the external institution where we present 7 data transfer scenarios, which are composed of a technological model and medium, which when joined become a data transfer scenarios that are used to exchange data between both institutions. The mode is made up of hardware and software that allows capturing the data, for example, material views, ITL's process, and archives. The medium is the technological tools, resources used so that the information can reach the inner data center, for example, internet, government data network, and magnetic media, which is not longer used, but is an option for some institutions that do not have any resource. We can see that the scenario number 1 is the ideal, since it uses the government data network and also use material views. Okay, in the second data transfer scenario, we use the government data network and ITL process, and in this way, successively in function of the resource of each institution. Please, Freddy, next slide. Okay, once we have defined the data transfer scenarios, we proceed to capture the data with the following steps. First, establish a collection, refers to interconnect text with other institutions. Second, transfer information in an established periodicity with these institutions. Third, store information in its original format and is loaded into a single relational database. In our case, Ecuador, I use Oracle. Fourth, in collection, capture metadata is stored in internal inventory of Ecuador. Please, next slide. Okay. The second question is, are state platforms for interoperability essential for NOEs to receive administrative data from data owners? What is the experience of different countries in this regard? Okay, in the case of Ecuador, is yes, because we have a government data network, which is managed by another institution called the National Telecommunication Corporation, which provides the interoperability service with the necessary security measures. The government data network Ecuador was created in November 2018 in order to improve the variability, security, and operation cost of government electronic service. Additional, Ecuador has a statistics laws from 1976, where it authorized the INEG Ecuador to receive the data from the state entities. Please, next slide. Okay, the third question. Is the data warehouse, data lakes, relational database, or data repositories where and how to store historical data from administrative register with system countries are implementing and why? In this slide, we can see that the INEG Ecuador received the data from administrative sources such as civil registration, social security, Ministry of Job, etc. This data is stored in a large relational data repository, in our case, Oracle. And on the other hand, the data is stored in its original format, raw data, such as backups, flat files, etc. And finally, the capture metadata is stored in an internal repository that links to the administrative record with the data collection frequency. From this point on, we have the data ready to load into massive data processing environment, specifically Hadoop. To conclude, the Directorate of Administrative Record is currently working to publish the catchment data in a data lake, which we hope to finish this project this year. Thanks. That is all. The conclusion is that we have the maturity process, also especially equipment, and the technology at the service of the institution. Thanks. That is all.